Hull Cove, at our last meeting, we had pretty much come up to the end of the Hull Cove project. We had George Neal go out and he gave me an estimate on doing the boardwalk, the 500 feet of boardwalk on Hull Cove, including everything that we talked about, and the estimate was around $75,000. Ching. So I said, and then Lisa said that you ought to put in money in there in case there's any archaeological work required, so she always puts in an extra $25,000. So that brings it up to $100,000 to do the Hull Cove. And I talked with Bruce, and I said, Bruce, what do you think? And he said, we don't have that. And I said, whatever we do, even if we got money for it, we still have to pay 20% of that.
Right.
So 20% of $100,000 is still $20,000, and we don't have $20,000. So
get the pallets out.
I told him let's put it on hold for now. He thought that was a good idea, and we've got the permit in hand to do it. We can do it anytime we want.
Can't do it halfway or do it.
Right. It's too big of a project to not do the whole thing. So I think we should just put it on the back burner now, and we'll see what happens this summer out there. If the trail gets even worse, or if the use gets even more abusive, then we might go forward with a grant to do this. But we could have put it in. I had the grant all ready to go practically for. But I just realized it's 20% match, and we don't have 20%. So it's okay. Yeah, this is expensive. Well, when you start doing 500 feet of 3-foot elevated boardwalk.
It's up there.
It
It's super cool.
500 feet. It would be cool, but it's a long trail. The biggest problem out there is that now that we've cleared it and cleaned it, people are going around the puddles, so the trail's getting wider and wider. So that's the only damaging part of it. So we'll see what happens this summer. We'll keep an eye on it. You go out there a lot, right?
When they're swell, right?
Why don't you give us a report when you are out there? Let us know what you see.
He's not out there for reporting. He's out there for.
I know but he can tell us. That
I walk barefoot through the path.
Yeah,
sure. I'll tell you.
I wouldn't do that.
That's the dogs. Legs. That mud squishing between your toes.
How do you know it's mud? Dog.
I don't care. Who cares?
All right. Okay, let's move on. Okay, the water treatment plant. They're still moving along. They've done the wetland mitigation is pretty much all the earthwork is done over there. They've got like hundreds of dollars of vegetation to plant this spring, and the town's employees are going to do that. Yeah. Once that's done, then we can go forward with our platform that we proposed for that area to overlook the Osprey platform. So I
did notice that they took out some of the natural sort of buffer zone. Now you can see the buildings.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they're pretty buildings. Yeah. They did a great job.
Well, what they had to do was take all that fill out.
Yeah, but now you can see it's awfully bare. I wonder, maybe we actually get the tree committee guys to come in there.
It's going to be vegetated. Well, with the tree committee, actually, if there is, they should look. There is a planting plan. There's a whole plan that shows exactly what the trees are, the shrubs, everything that's going to be planted there. And it's all been approved by. Well, it's all been approved by Coastal, so it's all done. But it's all going to be plants that like their feet.
Who chose all those plants?
The consultant picked them because it's a wetland mitigation project.
Put some tupelo trees in.
So that's moving. Okay. Just as a side note, we're getting a whole new setup for the Osprey pole for the camera, brand new camera. We just ordered the new camera, and the provider out in California is going to give us a free transmitter and receiver, a new one.
Wow.
Just because he's getting so much good press out of it. So it's up and running now, but we're going to upgrade it, the Raptor project. So the Greenway, Lisa and Justin and I are going out on Thursday if anybody's interested. We're going to walk the section of the Greenway that we talked about last time. Lisa has $50,000 that we had reallocated from the northern end of the Greenway. And she had it reallocated to the section from Whedon Lane to here to the sanctuary. And so what we're going to do is we have a right-of-way and easement along George's farm here, where there'll be a double fence put up, one to keep the animals away, and then two to keep the people away from the animals. So we'll be putting up one fence along here, and then when it gets down to the end of this property here, the town property is this piece. The town owns all this. It will go through the wall, and George has rebuilt the wall already, and he built a beautiful entryway with two big stones and a nice walkway right to the wall. So that's already done. And then we'll use the town property to go along here. And then what we're trying to look for is an area that we can go back out onto this right-of-way that runs along the town owns our land here, so that we can access in town that way. So that it'll go from Whedon Lane through the George's farm, across that town property, and then back out to the road. somehow.
It's almost a shame that it couldn't run through here.
Well, we were hoping it would run across to the platform, which is right there.
Well, okay, why can't it come, instead of running right along the turnpike?
Well, but see, it depends on what's gonna be, it's wet here, you gotta go from here.
This is pretty built up, isn't it?
This is dry in here, we're gonna put it back in here. We're not gonna put it right along the road, no, it'll be back in the woods a ways.
Yeah.
That's what we're proposing, yeah. And it'll probably be mostly walking, we haven't decided whether it'd be anything else other than walking, just because it's kind of good.
Is this all town property?
Town owns all this. Yeah.
So why couldn't it, I mean, people are, they're not trying to take the shortest point to the end of the trail. Why couldn't the trail come along?
Well, this is all wetlands in here.
We're walking like,
This is high here.
maybe you could have another one.
Well, it can go up to here and then join up with the other trail, which is here.
Oh, okay.
So that, yeah, there's
Okay.
the sanctuary trail actually goes up
Yeah,
the
okay,
road.
sacred joint.
It'll join up with the sanctuary trail.
Oh.
So we're gonna meet and we're gonna GPS this, because what I found, I walked it last week, or the week before last, and there's a huge mound of soil that's back in there, so we're hoping that we don't have to go through any wetlands, we can just go along the ridge of that soil. It's like a mountain that's gonna be 20 feet wide and 10 feet high, that runs right down through the middle of the property. It looks like when they built the Bridge and Turnpike Authority, they moved a lot of earth and they made a big mound, and it's all in the woods now, so you can't even see it.
Wow.
But you can walk the ridge of that and you can see out over the marsh, it's really kinda
cool.
nice.
Question is it dirt or?
And it's wetland down here. No, it's dirt. It's dirt, yeah. And then we get to this end, it'll have to come back out onto the right of way, which runs along here. So that's what we're gonna try to look
And
at.
you couldn't get permission to walk over there?
I talked with Coastal, see this right here, that's the platform. Our original plan was to go from here straight
That
across
was
to the platform
dramatic.
on a boardwalk, but we're gonna apply for that. But in the meantime, we're gonna put this in probably because Coastal's not really in favor of that. They're not in favor of structures going through the salt marsh. Especially since this is one of the largest marshes in the southern bay that's in pretty good shape. So they're not really happy about that, so. Anyway, that's our fallback plan, is we're gonna trail through the town.
Does increase people's appreciation of and
Oh, yeah,
exposure to
no
it.
question. But
Dramatically so.
we've already got 2 platforms out there, so
Alright.
we say approved. So that's the status of the Greenway. Does anybody have any other old business? Under other, okay. I gave you a projects list.